I'm gonna do some shit that I've never done in a fight before. This is gonna be something special.
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. June 3rd, man. It's getting close. Victor Altamirano. Pretty funky style, man. He brings to the table. What do you see in him in the fighting?
Yeah, man, he's super awkward. I don't know if he's funky or if he's just has a weird style. It's dangerous though. Typically, whenever I fight, I like to be the more weird one. So this will be a little bit different. I'll have to make some adjustments. But from the tape that I've watched of him, it seems more like he does things just to do them. They're not really with a purpose. So he does. Although he is funky and awkward, he makes a lot of mistakes. It's they're more habits. They're not movement with a purpose. He does it no matter what I'm doing. He does it no matter who he's fighting. And I just can recognize that because when I first started my crazy movements and stuff, that's how I started, was just doing things just to do them and not with a purpose. But now I don't fight like that anymore. I'm 36 years old now, and I feel like I'm really coming into my own now as far as my my technique and my style goes. So stylistically, I don't think I could have a better match for an exciting fight.
Yeah, do you see like in that what you just explained, that's where maybe the finish will come, is where he's kind of just doing things just to do it and it kind of becomes predictable in a way?
Yeah, he does. He really dips his head a lot, and nobody's really made him pay for that. So that's something I'm looking out for. And honestly, when I first got the fight and I started watching it, I think my coaches and I were both like, he's tough. He's going to be hard to finish. But the more we watched and the more we started training specifically for this guy, because I think this was the third opponent that I had, I feel like I'm going to finish this guy, and I think that I do have a good opportunity to knock him out.
And with this opponent, man, he's a guy that's kind of new to the division. Were you at that point where you were just like, man, I just need to fight somebody. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah, well, originally it was going to be Alan Nascimento, which I wasn't real stoked about the matchup because he was unranked and he's really tough. So I asked for a few other ranked guys, but they were all booked up. I asked for Sumadarji because we were already supposed to fight. He wasn't available. I asked for Amir Albazi, but he was already booked. So I kind of got stuck with Nascimento because they said I couldn't fight any unranked guys. Yeah, so I was kind of stuck in a bad spot as far as fighting a tough guy who's unranked. And more than anything, I want good stylistical matchups to put on something exciting. And because that's really all I got. My record's not super great. I've been in the game a long time. Like, the best thing about me is going out and putting on a really exciting, stylistically fun fight. And with Alan Nascimento, not that I don't think that I could beat him, because we were game planning hard on how to beat him. I have Chris Brennan. He's a jiu-jitsu wizard. Like, we were prepping everything that I do naturally to prepare for Nascimento, but that was really stifling the game that I want to do. I want to go out and I want to take the easy takedown. I want to get funky. I want to have fun. I want to spin. And with Nascimento, I was going to have to really stifle that type of stuff, the things that I really like to do, the things that really make me love fighting. And with Victor, I'm not going to have to do that. I can go out there and I can be 100% Tim Elliott. And I haven't really got to do that in a long time. Even with Tagir, although that was a fun fight and an exciting fight, I wasn't able to do the things that I really wanted to do because of the style of fight that was and how big of a guy that he was. So, I mean, I got the win, but it wasn't, what I want. I want to not only get the win, I want people to be talking about the fight afterwards. I want to be in the contention for the bonus money, because I love this sport and I love the things that I'm good at. And with Victor, I'm going to be able to do all those things, and that makes for an exciting fight and opportunity to get bonus money. And I'm in a position right now where I need that.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I heard that you had some knee issues that you've been dealing with that kept you out of action for the past year or so. How's it been, working through all of that?
It was a struggle. I had a major surgery a few years ago. I tore my ACL, LCL, MCL, PCL, meniscus. I had a bunch of repairs done. Uh, they took my patella and they did a cadaver with that for my ACL. I had a bunch of metal hardware in my knee, and then I fought Tagir, and that was at that time my surgery knee was my good knee. It was better than my other knee, so things were looking really good. And then Brandon Moreno came to the gym at Glory where I was at, and him and I were training together. And I kept going down. It wasn't pain, but I was just like my leg wouldn't be underneath me. So I finally got an MRI, and all my screws were ejected out from my knee. So I had to go have a surgery where they cut out all my metal hardware and replaced it with plastic hardware. So that took a while. I finally got to where I could go back to training. I moved out here to Texas to train with Chris Brennan and Next Generation, and then I tore my meniscus, and it wasn't anything like I could still train on it, but it was painful, and I didn't want to have another surgery, so I didn't know what to do really. So I hopped on a plane and I flew to Tijuana, and I got stem cells in my knee. I think I waited 10 days after getting stem cells, and then I was right back into training full time. So it's just one of those things, you know. I'm 36. I got a lot of miles on me. You know, luckily it's all miles on my knees. Like my head's good. I've only taken maybe 2 hard shots ever in all my years of fighting. Askar Askarov, you know, he got me pretty good. Jared Papazian hit me with an illegal knee that rocks me pretty good. But other than that, I've been so lucky as to not really take any kind of damage to my head. So as far as health goes, like I'm in about as good a shape as I've ever been, you know, minus the age. That's I got a bad case of the age.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. You know, the stem cells, man. Getting those injected, did it feel like it's like a miracle drug?
You know, it was hard for me to tell. They told me like, hey, you need to be off it for like a month or two. But at this time, I'd already had a fight in the book, so I didn't really have time to wait. But yeah, I literally went from limping around on it, and then 10 days I was able to get through a full practice without having, you know, too many issues. And now I did a full 8-week training camp, no issues, feeling good. So I don't know if it's the stem cells or if it's in my head, but either way it worked, so I'll take it.
Outside of, the knee, there's been a lot of things that been going on in your life, you know what I mean, just with the gym and your personal life. And was there ever a point that you wanted to just kind of like step away from fighting for at least a little short period of time and just to get your head straight or anything like that?
Yeah, man, I had a rough childhood. From about the time I was in the 4th grade, I had uh, a pretty wild childhood and a pretty rough childhood. But by far, the last 2 years of my life have been the hardest for me. I think I was a little bit more equipped to handle things before the 4th grade because I really didn't know what was going on. But I mean, I moved to Las Vegas to train with Robert Follis, and he killed himself. And then I moved back to Kansas City to train with my old team, and then the gym got shut down. And then I was trying to, in the process of looking for a new team or finding a new gym, even it being in Kansas City. And then I get married, and then my wife leaves me for my friend. So it was tough. And yeah, like honestly, if it wasn't for Austin Ford and Chris Brennan out here in Texas, I'm not sure if I would be fighting or if I would even be here right now. I was on a path that was looking like jail or, you know, something worse. So I've been blessed my whole career with really good coaches and really good people around me. And, you know, even with the Glory Gym having issues, I still got, you know, James Krause calls me every day checking on me. He's been one of my best friends and mentors. I mean, he's the guy who got me into the UFC. He was the first guy I ever really trained with that put any kind of effort into me. So luckily, with all the other shit going on, I have a strong base system, and they opened their arms here in Texas. Like Chris Brennan's let me. This is his house. It's a $1 million house with a hot tub and a cold plunge and a swimming pool and a sauna and a bike and a movie theater room and a game room. And it's literally me, him, and his son staying in this huge house. And they're making all my meals. They have a person making all my meals for me. All my supplements are laid out. My schedule's laid out in front of me to where I don't have to think about anything. I just do what I'm told. And I love that. I'm a soldier. I'm not a general. I can't be in charge of my own things. But if I have somebody I trust telling me what to do, I feel like I could do anything. And here, Chris has no problem being the guy to, you know, tell me to shut the fuck up and do what I tell you. And I crave that. I need that. And I have that now. So I feel like this is going to be the best version of me that anybody's seen yet. It took me forever to really find a style and really find a place. And then I would have some wins and losses, and it kind of changes everything. But this has been the most steady, most consistent camp that I've ever had, with the most steady and most consistent team, where I don't have to worry or think about anything except for fighting and winning this fight. And man, that makes it so much easier, especially with all the negative shit that I have going on around me. Uh, I don't know is that I could do it anywhere else, honestly.
Yeah, you go from a big gym, right? A real well-known gym with a lot of fighters to more of a smaller, close-knit group. You know, that seems like it has affected you and impacted you in a really, really positive way.
Yeah, I mean, both had their perks. Like at the gym in Kansas City, there was 22 guys in the UFC, not just fighters, but guys in the UFC training there. So you get a different level of competition. But there's only one James Krause, and you got to share him with 50 other guys. Your time is limited. Here we have, I think, 15, 16 steady guys that are there every day for every practice, and I don't have to jockey for my position on the team. I don't have to jockey for time. Um, I get whatever time that I need. And like when I first got here, I was late once, and I Chris is pretty strict about not being fucking late to practice. We got to go to everybody's fights. We go to everybody's weigh-ins. Everybody does everything together, or you're not on the team. He's not looking to have 50 guys. He wants 20 guys that are committed, and that's it. And if you're not that guy, he'll let you go. And I just happen to be one of the only guys making any money to pay him. So like, he let everybody know that I get special treatment, and I had to tell him like, no, man, I don't want that. I don't want to be special. I want to be. Matter of fact, I want you to be harder on me than you are everybody else because I've been in this game longer. I want that. I want these guys to know it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how much money you make. Like, if you want to fucking win, you have to have this done to you. And I say to you, really, it's for me. But that, I think, kind of made everybody on the team like really open up and accept me, because I'm weird. I don't go into the gym and talk and make friends. I go in and I walk around, with my head down and talk to myself, and because I'm not in there to have fun. Making friends. I'm in there to have fun trying to win fights. And I've been to other gyms in the past where people, like when I went to Vegas at Extreme Couture, like they were great over time, but at first they're like, this weird motherfucker's like mumbling shit to himself and pacing back and forth. And so and same with Glory. Like I had friends there, but it was kind of cliquey. Like there was groups of people that hung out with groups of people here. That's not a thing. There's one clique, there's one team, there's one sergeant, and everybody else just shut the fuck up and do what they're told. And again, it's been a blessing for me. It really has.
It seems like you became like a leader without even trying to become a leader for the younger guys.
Yeah, 100%. And they'll tell me that, and they know I don't want that. I don't want to be the guy because I'm not that guy. If they put me there and I can help them that way, then that's the case. But even when I'm showing stuff or if I tell somebody something, a lot of times it's not even really for them. I'm doing it for me because this is a selfish game, and I tell those guys too, like be selfish. Like you got to be stingy in this sport. You can't give without taking. It's otherwise you're not going to get what you need. And everybody has like from the time when I got here to today I didn't spar. Today's our sparring day. Sitting on the sideline watching these guys, they're just fucking getting after it. And when I first got here, that wasn't the case. People were apologizing when they would hit somebody hard, and like now you hit somebody hard, they're pointing at them and shaking their head like that's right, I got you, and not in a mean way, but like we're practicing winning, we're practicing knocking people out, we're practicing hurting people like in a respectful way, and that is something that I feel like, well, I know because Chris told me that I bring to the table, and the whole gym has leveled up. And again, I didn't do that for anybody else. I needed the gym to level up so that I could level up. So everything that I'm doing here is 100% for me, and everybody else just gets good from it residually, trickle down.
You mentioned Austin Ford earlier. He's the head striking coach at the gym at Next Generation. He's someone that you've trained with and worked with in the past. Man, how was it reuniting with him and getting back into the mix with him again?
I mean, man, so he was one of my first coaches and my first ever real striking coach. He's cornered me in all my early UFC fights, my Titan fights. Always been the guy that wrapped my hands. Um, Honestly, I didn't know how I was going to fit in up here, and being a part of a new team, being the weirdo that I am, and Chris being like, because I'm a hardhead, man. I drink and smoke, and I don't always make the best decisions, but not here because nobody out here is drinking, nobody out here is smoking, nobody. They go to bed at 9:30. They don't even eat. I have to salt my food. They don't even eat salt. Like it's like everything is perfect. So I didn't know is that I would be able to fit in enough to like make this my home. But Austin Ford being here made it easy because I trust him, and he was letting me know like, hey, this is your spot. This is a place for you, um, and I'm comfortable with him. I have a weird style. Like trying to hit pads with people is a nightmare for me because I switch my stance. I don't know if I'm left-handed or right-handed. And with Austin, I don't have to. I have to hit this pad with this hand and that pad with that hand. Doesn't matter the combination. He catches everything I throw. I can jump at any time and throw a flying knee. I can do a cartwheel, and he's going to catch my kick. Like it's we just have a good back and forth, and I don't know is that I would have been able to do that with a new striking coach. I can do that with a grappling coach and a wrestling coach because that's more my game. I was a grappler, so having a guy that I trusted and had 100% confidence is going to help me. Just made the move easy to come here. I don't know is that I would have been here without Austin.
Man, it seems like everything's rolling really well with you, man, even with all the changes and stuff like that. What are your expectations? How do you want to perform in this one?
You know, I usually always say that I want to drag this deep and fight for 15 minutes because that's what I've been training for. But I'm looking to knock this guy out. I've been working some pretty cool striking techniques, and like I said, I was worried about throwing those techniques against Nascimento because his ground game is so good. So I would have had to fight him boring, and that's just not exciting for me. That's not what I want. I mean, I will take that fight because I don't really get a choice. They told me I had to fight Nascimento. I lucked out of the fight because it was set for June 3rd. The the venue was already set, and then they called not too many weeks ago and said, "Oh, hey, Nascimento's hurt. He wants to push the fight back." And I was like, "No, I don't want to push the fight back. I've been away from my kid. My daughter's always lived with me. Her and I have always been together. When I moved to Vegas, she was 1 year old. She's always been by my side for every fight, every camp. I've just always had her. And then being here, I was here for 8, 9 weeks, and I was only seeing her once every 3 weeks, driving back to Kansas City. And I didn't want to wait another 2 weeks to see my kid, so they looked for something on June 3rd to replace him. They had a Russian guy that was 19-1, newly signed guy, but he had visa issues, so I couldn't get that fight, which I accepted. And then they went back to Nascimento on June 3rd, so I was like, cool. And then they called and said, no, it's going to be Nascimento on June 24th. So I was like, that's fine. I'll take the fight, but I want to be guaranteed my show money if this guy pulls out. I want to be guaranteed that I'm going to get half my check if this guy pulls out again, because I can't go, this much longer without a paycheck. It's been over a year. Like, I need to get paid. I'm working. I need to get paid, whether this guy's hurt or not. So they said, yeah, that's fine. And then maybe like 2 hours later, I got the call back. Like, Victor Altamirano took the fight June 3rd. So I got the date that I wanted. I got the opponent that I wanted. I got the team and the coaches that I need. And, it's really the work has all been done. It's just up to me to go out there and perform.
One last thing, man. After you fight in the main event, you got Kai Kara France and Amir Albazi. You were matched up to fight Amir. What do you see in this matchup? How do you see that fight ending?
Uh, Amir seems to perform well. I don't think he's that great. That's still a fight that I would want, but it's an interesting matchup. But I think Kai Kara France just has dynamite in his hands, and he was somebody that I always wanted to fight because we had a little bit of beef on the Ultimate Fighter House. But he's since the Ultimate Fighter House, he's turned things up and turned things around, and he's a dangerous guy. So I think Kai Kara France is going to get him. But either way, I'd like to fight either one of those guys. Those are two fights again that are stylistically exciting, and that's what I really want. You know what I mean? My win and loss record is what it is. But what I do have is I can bring excitement, and I think I have 4 or 5 fight of the night bonuses. Like, I like that. I like getting that extra money. The only thing I wish I could get was a flat rate. If I could have got a flat rate for this contract, would have been a little bit better. But I'm finally to the point now where I'm making enough money to live. I can fight once, twice a year, and I can live for the whole year. I can take care of my family for the whole year off of that. And I know not everybody can say that or do that, but I've also been in the UFC since 2012, fighting everybody who they've ever asked me to fight, any date they've ever asked, hurt, not hurt, divorced, sad, angry, whatever. I've always been the guy that the UFC can count on. But I also sold myself as that guy. I told him I want to be the company guy. I want to be the guy you can count on to call when you need somebody. 6 days notice, 2 days notice. Like, I can make weight. I can be there. I can fight hard. I may not win every time, but I promise you, you know what you're going to get. And at first, I thought that was getting advantage taken of by the UFC, but now they're compensating me for that. So me being the guy that they can count on is paying off, and couldn't come at a better time.
Well, I see a bonus in both those fights. So, what I mean? I think you guys will get your money's, or the fans will get their money's worth, and you'll get your paychecks, the way you
That
want
I
it.
can guarantee.
For
I'm gonna do
sure.
some shit that I've never done in a fight before. This is gonna be something special.
For sure, man. June 3rd, UFC Fight Night, Las Vegas. Tim, always appreciate the time, man. All the best in this fight, and all the best of luck in getting the bonus, man. It's always great to see fighters get that extra money.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate the time.